Welcome to Fleet News Group podcast, where we talk to people throughout the automotive industry about fleet management, telematics, sustainability and other trends. Today I'm chatting with Jacquelene Brotherton, a truck industry stalwart known to many in the industry. This podcast is airing close to International Women's Day, and that's a day that was celebrated in a special way by the National Association that Jacquelene chairs, Women in Transport. Welcome, Jacquelene.
Welcome. Thanks for having me, Caroline.
Now, I met you at an industry conference where you were a speaker, and I remember your talk so fondly, where you told us how your passion for the industry developed. Can you tell us how you grew up around trucks and what the industry means to you now?
That's right. We met, 2021 now, I think. So I grew up, my family owned a business back in North Burke, out the other side of Burke, in the 1970s. So I met many of my future friends and bosses in that era. So that was when obviously the industry was way different to what it is now, where there were very few rules that were obeyed, and obviously none of the uniformity there is now that's been brought in, and it was a very, very different industry. So my passion for advocacy and for the industry started back then in the early 1970s and has continued now 50 years later. So never has waned for me.
I read recently that you've got a new role at a trucking broadcasting organisation. Is it a new radio channel? Tell us the name. Or I think it might even just be newly acquired, maybe renamed. Tell us all about that and what you will be doing there.
So I wear three hats at the moment. So I chair Transport Women Australia Ltd, which I have done now for 5.5 years. I'm back working for one of my ex-bosses in the livestock transport industry, and I've just taken a role as a PR manager for Australian Truck Radio. So I've very new in that role, and we're just fleshing out what that will actually mean at the moment. So that did have another name prior to Prime Creative Media acquiring the radio station. I'm not sure what that was, so I know it only as Australia Truck Radio, which is a national radio, 24-hour, 24/7 radio station for truckies around Australia. And you can listen to it via your app or via your computer. Obviously, download the app. That's how I listen to it. And I think that's the easiest way for everybody to listen to it. And that's how, obviously, the truck drivers listen to it, is by downloading that app.
Okay. So I probably should say to our listeners too that, Jacquelene, you are in a car at the moment. So maybe with us both working for transport and audio, we should have worked out how to make a smoother, better sound quality. But we're doing our best, aren't we, Jacquelene?
That's correct, and as I said, new to radio and coming from the trucking industry, we probably should have, but these things happen in trucking. You can't always plan anything.
So I've also attended one of your Women in Transport events late in 2022, just last year. It was such a fun event and so many high energy women involved in all aspects of transport. Can you just tell our audience a bit more about the group, when it was founded, the idea of it, like some of the programs and awards you sponsor?
So we have, the group was founded in 1999, so we're going to be celebrating our 25 years next year with a big party in November 2024. So we're really looking forward to that. We have lots of initiatives. We obviously have our International Women's Day functions, which is happening around the country at the moment. We have a massive end-of-year functions, which you attended with me last year, I think, where we named one of our life members. But we have a lot of programs. We have the Women Driving Transport Careers program, which is a joint venture with Wodonga TAFE and Volvo, and that is a female-only driver training program, which gets women into the industry to get their licenses, and they're fully employed and have ongoing training from that. We have a Creating Connections mentoring mentoring program, which is open to all our members and the members, the employees of our corporate members. We have scholarships that are sponsored by Daimler Truck Australia Pacific, and that's what we were giving on you were with us as well, and had some of our scholarship recipients there with us. So they have gone to road, rail, marine, engineers for licensing, for management courses, for engineering courses, and a huge amount of different courses that the women have chosen over the 5 years that they have been going. So really, really proud of them. They're open to anybody of any age. You must be a member of TWOL, or you must be a employee of a corporate member to apply for them. But they've gone to West Australia, South Australia, Queensland, New South Wales and Victoria. So there's no age limit to them. So I think the youngest has been 25 and the oldest has been like 57 or something that they've gone to for a change of career person. We have a sponsor for the Trish Picker Memorial Award, which is for an outstanding contribution by a woman to the transport industry over a long period of time. So that's been happening since 2019 as well. So we've given that to 4 outstanding women over those 4 years, which we're very, very proud of, and we're very grateful to Wes Pickering for sponsoring that. So a lot of happening. We nominate our members for numerous awards over the years, and I've just had 2 of them take out winners at the Road Freight New South Wales Awards in Sydney last week. So that was very exciting for us that we nominated 2 women and they both won. So very, very exciting. So great to showcase our members like that as well.
I wanted to talk to you about, one of the really critical issues affecting the heavy vehicle industry, and that's the shortage of truck drivers and, the opportunities that shortage actually presents for women. So I was listening to the podcast Copy Southbound, a truckie favourite, featuring a chat with the female truck driver Liesl Hales, where she said a well-known trucker had said to her he'd employ a female driver any time because they are just so much softer on the equipment. And, I hear that a lot. Is there truth in that? And how are women being encouraged to take up heavy vehicle driving?
I think the evidence coming out of the US, I'm sure it comes out of Australia as well, shows backs that statement up. And I think that, I think women are more careful because they don't want to be shown as being harder on the gear. But I think women would enter the industry if they were shown a pathway. And I think there's now, like our scholarships, like the Women Driving Transport Careers, like a few other programs going that show a pathway into the industry. A lot of women that we speak to say that they haven't considered it as a career because they didn't see a way into the industry. And we have some initiatives in with schools and TAFEs, and that's getting the word out there to girls and women that it's a wonderful career for them, that the sky's the limit. And there's so many different roles. It's not only about truck drivers, and they're not the only people we're short. We're not just short of truck drivers, we're short of people. We're short of operations people, we're short of technicians, we're short of everybody. So we don't need just to concentrate on that small niche of truck drivers. We need people in general, and women and youth are not going to fulfil that demand. We need to look also at other sectors, at people having a change of career, at our immigrants, at our refugees. We need to embrace anybody who is looking for a career pathway to fulfill those needs, skills we need in the trucking and the supply chain industry, not just trucking, the whole of supply chain industry.
I was just thinking too, another thing was during COVID, and now I guess we're in the wake of COVID, there seems to be a lot more appreciation among the general population about the role of trucking and freight deliveries, and ipso facto appreciation of truck drivers. Do you think that's true?
I think there was. I think it's faded a lot since COVID disappeared a lot. I think they've forgotten a lot of how important we were at the time. So I think that was great while the COVID was on and their appreciation was there. I don't think the same percentage of appreciation is there, but maybe, but certainly it's better than it was pre-COVID.
Yeah. This podcast, I like to talk a lot about sustainability in transport and what is being done to cut emissions. And the transport industry is the second biggest emitter of greenhouse gases in Australia, and will at some point in not too distant future overtake the energy industry to become the biggest emitter as the power industry itself shifts more to renewable sources. So I was just wondering, do people that you know in your circles in the heavy vehicle sector care about cutting emissions? Are they excited about, the electric vehicle future, or are they more sceptical?
I wouldn't say they're excited, but I
Yeah.
think everybody is working towards cutting emissions in any way they can. I don't think anybody's excited in the trucking industry about electric vehicles. Some of the manufacturers maybe. It's something that I don't get into much of a discussion about, but I think everybody's working on it. Everybody's working on electric vehicles. There's been a few deliveries to different councils and Australia Post and stuff that's taking deliveries for local electric vehicles. So, there is an uptake there, and I think, the industry does care about, especially the big end of town, but everybody's concerned about it. That's not something that the industry's not concerned about, and they are all working towards that, I think.
I don't know if you can sort of shed any light for us on this, but I was just looking for any insights on why the big national carrier Scots really went under. Like, reports suggest a myriad of things: high fuel costs, road charges. I'm just wondering if you know anything about that story. I was concerned that there's, at the time of its administration being called, it was controlled by an investment group, Anchorage. And I guess it just bothers me. And, is it signalling more widespread contagion for the industry?
Look, it's just my opinion, and you can only have your own opinion. But I think there was a huge range of factors in it, and you've touched on a few of them there. The rising costs of everything. Unfortunately, the thing that doesn't rise as quickly is the freight rates. To combine the warehousing. Yes, I just trying to run the warehousing. Radar may not have been the best thing, and also transport is a very intricate business, and you have to have the right people at the top. And I'm not saying that was what it was with Scots, because I don't know enough about it. So, there was probably a wide range of factors that brought it to the conclusion that was there. You can't help but feel for all the people that are involved, but I'm sure everybody is scrambling to take on their drivers.
I hope so. Just another thing, you've been in the industry for a long time, as we sort of established at the beginning of this, but do you want to share your views about changes in the regulatory environment in recent years, particularly with the development of the National Heavy Vehicle Regulator and moves to standardise rules governing road freight and vehicles, things like weights and trailers? hopefully those sort of things will make it a bit easier for the industry. What are your views?
Look, honestly,
I know we could write a book about it, but in 1 minute, I'll give you 1 minute.
I can make it sweeter than that. National uniformity can only be a good thing.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of heavy stuff, but I think from all the interactions I've had with you, you are a really positive person. So I wonder if we can finish on a positive note with you telling us what you're looking forward to seeing unfold in the industry in the next year or even decade in Australian trucking.
I just want to see a greater appreciation for our staff, for our drivers, for the people in the industry. I think that the more we appreciate them, the better our industry is going to be. I want our role models to get out there and preach the gospel of transport to everybody. I think it's a very underrated industry. I think we need everybody to understand just how much we put into it and how important we are to everybody. And I think that, we really have to find that appreciation for these people that give it their all and then are not appreciated at the end of the day. So for it to become more appreciated, for it to become safer, and that it's looked at as a professional industry, that we are not just some unprofessional or not a skilled industry, that we are actually a highly professional place to be.
Fantastic, and thank you so much for your time today, Jacquelene. I promised I wouldn't take up all of your afternoon, but it was lovely to talk with you again.
Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you.
You've been listening to Fleet News Group podcast. It was edited and produced by Isabella Fiorentino. You can follow us on Spotify. Just search for Fleet News Group. We're also on Instagram, Facebook and YouTube. Our website is fleetnewsgroup.com, where you can get all of our stories, videos and podcasts. Until next time, drive safely and take care.